Alright guys, the plan is for this to be a pretty short video for you tonight. I just want to make sure everybody kind of knows what's expected for the voiceover part for your Prezi. You can see on the picture you actually have two things happening here. Over on the left is your flowchart proof, so this is one that I'm going to use myself. And then over on the right, I'm actually going to type out what you would say. So for those of you, if you're breaking up the work, if you're going to have people switch places, you may want to write it out in words. I'm basically just taking everything on the left and making it into a paragraph. Okay. Fair warning, this is right after school. It's only like 3:50 something, so you may hear announcements or random people walking in. Just ignore it, and we'll get through this as fast as we can. Okay. So when I'm talking about this, when I'm walking somebody through it, I want to explain what I have first. So I might say, oh, that font's going to be way too small for you to see, so let me fix that real quick. Nice and big. I need to change it to white as well. That might help. There we go. Alright. We'll start with there. Alright, so we are trying to... Let me stretch this bigger here. Really? Alright, so me and the smartboard were having some issues here. There. Ooh. Ah. Okay. I'm working on this, guys. Alright, so we are trying to prove the theorem that says that all straight angles are congruent. And I know you can probably hear me typing too, guys. I apologize. I don't have the headset. I'm just doing this right here on my computer. Okay? So, you want to actually tell people what you're trying to prove. We're trying to prove the theorem that says all straight angles are congruent. Right? We're given two angles, angles 1 and angle 2, that are straight angles. So really all I'm doing, guys, I'm putting in transitions, I'm doing that kind of stuff to make this words instead of pictures and symbols so that somebody can kind of follow along. We then need to prove, this is what happens when I try and type and speak at the same time. We then need to prove that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Remember all that stuff I made you do where I was making, like, rewrite this in words, these symbols to words and words to symbols? That's what you're using here. Alright, this is where in my proof I want to make sure I have people really clear that we actually have two separate things. So I might say something like, because we have two givens, we have two different ideas. First, since angle 1 is a straight angle, which was given, we know that the measure of angle 1 is 180 degrees because of the definition of straight angle. Definition of straight angle. Notice how I'm making sure that I get the statement. The statement in this case was that the measure of angle 1 is 180 degrees. That's what's in the bubble. And I'm getting the reason, the definition of straight angle in there as well. Right? So you definitely need both of those things. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. Alright. Our second idea, or our second given, however you want to kind of introduce it, but the idea that they have two ideas happening at the same time. Our second idea is that angle 2 is a straight angle, which was given. And we know that the measure of angle 2 is 180 degrees, also due to the definition of straight angle. So far, if you're looking over on the left, let's see if I can find some pretty colors to line this up here. Change that to white so you can see it when I switch away. So far on the left, I've summed up this side and this side after first going through all the stuff at the top. Okay? So I went through everything at the top first, from here and above. Then I took my two separate ideas. I said first, since we know about angle 1, and then our second idea, okay? So I've kind of broken up what we know. Now I need to, hang on. Oh, undo. There we go. All right. Now I need to make sure I point out that now we're going to combine ideas, right? Because it takes two arrows to get to the substitution property. And I may want to explain, well, hey, that looks like a little smiley face or something. Sorry. You know, we want to explain why. Why does it take two things to get to the substitution property? Okay. So I'm going to go back over here. All right. So then I'm going to say, together, these two ideas together, these two ideas combine, and I can substitute. So, let me spell substitute right, though. Substitute. One angle in. Hang on, let me move this so you can see it. Oh, I lost it. That's what I get for typing in our color font. There we go. Together, these two ideas combine, and I can substitute one angle in for the 180 degrees, which leads us to the fact that the measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 2 because of substitution. I obviously didn't like the way I spelled that. Substitution. There we go. Okay, so now I've talked about how, right here, starting with the together, that talks about how the two ideas are combined over on the other side. And then I need to finish it up to finally get, or finally show, show is a pretty good word, to finally show that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. All I need to know is that, let me move this again so you can see. All I need to know is that, where was I? Oh, is that when two angles have the same measure, they are congruent by the definition of congruence. Okay, so I've gone through, I've changed all of my pretty pictures to words. Okay, so let me get those words in yellow, or sorry, in white, so we can see them all at once. See if I can make them a little smaller so we can see all of it at one time. Right, you know, the idea is not necessarily that you have to actually write this out. Right, you don't have to. But depending on how you guys plan to do your voiceover, you may want to. You may want to have it written so you know exactly what you're going to say. Okay, it's not letting me change the font size on this, guys. I apologize.
If you're still in the building, please report to Ms. McNichols' desk.
Okay, you don't have to write this out. Nowhere am I going to actually say, where's all your stuff written out, guys? I want it, because that's not what I'm looking for. But this is what you would say as you're going through your Prezi, as you're showing me what you've got. Okay, so just a heads up for you, nothing necessarily you had to write down tonight, but just so you kind of know going into the next couple of days what is expected of you. Look at that, under 9 minutes. I'm so proud of myself. I'm tempted to keep talking just to make it go over 9 minutes, but something tells me all might be mad at me. So have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.